100 games, does it feel like it goes by fast, slow?
Yeah, pretty fast. I think games are important. And, 100 games is pretty special for me, and yeah, I mean it's awesome. So I'm excited.
Where do you feel your biggest strength has grown from? I know we're going back a while now, but from game one to right now.
I think my game in general has just changed. I think I'm a completely different player. I think I've elevated in every aspect of my game. My defending, my stick, poking off guys, my transition game, moving the puck quick, knowing when to go and when to stay back, and then my ozone game. I think it's really developed this year, and that's kind of starting to show.
Is that, right now, like working with Pesh, one of those big things that you're really learning some of those things?
Yeah, I think his stick is so good at the blue line, and it helps out with our transition game so much. And he's a very easy guy to play with, but we're just getting to know each other. I think these last 7 or 8 games have been our best, and we just got to keep going and keep getting better every day.
What do you kind of like about, that pair that you have, especially when you're going up against some of the top guys?
I mean, like I said, his stick is so good. He's really good transitioning with the puck, and he gets me and puts me in really good spots in the neutral zone and in the O zone. And he's just a really fun guy to play with. He's very chatty, and yeah, he's just fun.
One of the things, in your game has been your offensive game, but you're talking about really improving yourself defensively. How much pride do you take in that, in rounding out your game in that way at this level?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a defenseman first, and I think that's a big part of my game. It's a big part of my brother's game. Seeing his development throughout his 6 years, and he's one of the best defensemen in the league defensively now. So just trying to round out that and grow my game offensively and defensively is really important.
When you're getting ready for a team like this, they obviously have a new coach, so things can be a little bit different. What are you sort of looking for from your team right now against them? What is their biggest strength that you guys have to guard against?
Yeah, I think for us it's just consistency in our game. We've been playing our best hockey of the year right now, and we just got to keep playing our game and focusing on us. And they're going to come out hard with a new coach and just come out hard and physical probably. So we just got to play our game.
You're saying that you guys are playing some of your best hockey. What is it about right now that is telling you guys that as a team? Results aside, just in terms of how you're playing.
I mean, obviously the results are nice, but we've had a really tough stretch of hockey. Playing really good teams, the Floridas, Carolina, Washington, Nashville. So all really hard teams to play against, and just the consistency in our game and trying to bring it every night is really important for us and a big key focus.
Well, obviously, just given the circumstances with no Timo, you're going to be moving up to that line. One of the things that we've talked about is your versatility. Is this kind of one of those big moments for you to be able to do that?
Yeah, I'd say so. Playing with Hughes is obviously pretty cool. So great player. Obviously, he's been having a lot of success lately, and so just try and contribute and play my game, and should be good.
How do you hope your game sort of balances out that? Because you've got Nace on the other side. You guys have that sort of similar edge to you.
Yeah, playing with Nace is going to be good. We've played with each other in the past, obviously, for quite some time in those games, and just kind of know his tendencies. So it'll be nice to have a familiar face on the other side of that line. But I in Vegas played with Eichel, Stone, Marchie, guys like that. So I'm used to it. I've learned over the years that just try to keep my game consistent. Don't try and change anything based on who you're playing with and stuff. The reason why I'm there is because of the things I do well. So no reason to change anything. And if I don't play my game, we should have a pretty good game.
What has been the key to the consistency of this team right now, especially over this stretch where you're playing the Floridas, the Washingtons, and all that?
If we had the answer, we'd be winning every game. But so far, so good. I think we do a pretty good job in here of holding everyone accountable. Mm-hmm. There's just kind of a no in the room that everybody expects your best all the time. There's not really any guys taking any time off with shifts or taking opportunities to maybe not go 100%. Mm-hmm. It's with saying that, I don't think anybody does that on purpose, but just that extra push, that extra 50-50 battle win. It seems like we have it in our room versus who we're playing, so we just got to keep it going, and that's why we've been so successful so far.
Paul, today, even in like a morning skate today, a lot of what you guys were working on was getting pucks in behind, working below the goal line. How important has that part of your game and the forecheck been to the team's offensive success here this year?
Really important. I mean, I think that's one of our biggest things is we have guys that are skilled and can make plays in the O zone, and I mean, Jack and Brad are, especially if they roll up on the blue line, it's pretty hard to stop them. But you got to get the puck in there first in order for them to do that. So that's been big for us, just limiting neutral zone turnovers and chaos that can happen if you're not smart with the puck early. I think that's been a leading factor to our success, is just getting it in behind them, letting certain guys go and get it, and maybe some more skilled guys kind of be able to do their thing from there.
And have you noticed that, like, as you guys have done it more as a team, and teams start to notice that you guys are doing a lot of that, is that maybe backing the D off a little bit and opening up more room in the neutral zone now for you?
Yeah, of course. I mean, especially if you do it a couple times early, get pucks in behind them, and go and finish your hits, those D aren't going to want to go back and get the puck. So eventually they're going to cheat back to have some more time, and then that's where you make your creative play cut to the middle. And so I think it's all just make sure we're doing the right things early, and the ice will open up for guys that are able to make those plays into the middle and stuff after that.
Sheldon, obviously forced into having to make some changes with Timo not being able to play. When you look at what you have in Paul Cotter, how versatile is he to be able to fit up into that role?
I think he's very versatile. He's done the job for us. Whether we've moved him up at different times throughout the season, for full games, or shifts here and there at different times. He's got a skill set, I think, that's transferable to any line. My message to him anytime we've made such moves is to not change this game. I think the assets that he has in terms of his ability to bring the puck up the ice and forecheck and skate and be physical, all those things are assets that any line requires. So you can't change a thing.
We've talked about it a little bit before, but just seeing the growth in Luke's game defensively, what have you seen with him working with Pesce? Now he's playing his 100th game tonight. He says he thinks he's a better defenseman.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a major focus for us since day one of training camp as a team. And I know, Luke wasn't in our training camp, didn't play any preseason, missed the early part of the season, but he's been in every meeting from day one of camp. Sometimes he's in the meetings twice because he's in skating and he's just kind of hanging around between rehab sessions. So, he knows what the message has been, and I think playing with someone like Pesce, of course, helps him, and Pesce is talking to him, and Pesce, he puts out fires. That's what Pesce does. He kills plays and all of that. But Luke on his own has killed plays and has skated really well, and we want to be a good team, a good consistent team, and we need every player to commit to defending. And Luke, to me, has all the assets that are required for any elite defenseman to defend and be hard to play against and be in the way and kill plays. And then we're well aware of what he can do on offense. So we think the more that he can defend well, that the offensive stuff will be plentiful, and he'll be on the offensive side of the red line more frequently. And I think we're seeing more of that here as the seasons come on.
You mentioned the conversation you had with Paul, and it's one that all coaches will say, don't do anything different necessarily, but it's hard for a player sometimes. In other words, he's playing with different players, maybe more he thinks he should do. And so are you on guard for that on the bench? Are you looking for that? Is there a conversation maybe on a shift where like, hey, what happened there?
Yeah, like I said, we've made these kind of moves with Paul already different times during the season, and I've just put little bugs in his ear, but hey, I believe in you to go up into those spots because of the way that you've played and the type of game that you play. If you go changing it, it's not going to last very long. We'll have other people that can go into those spots, but he'll be good tonight. He'll be going, and he'll bring lots of energy to that line. There's some defensive responsibilities that come with playing with Nico that he'll have to be mindful of. If anything, that would perhaps be the adjustment, is just being more mindful of that he'll have more time in the defensive zone in terms of face-offs, and we'll play against better players more consistently.
You've had some matchups against Jim Montgomery. What's it like to match wits with him?
I mean, it's a challenge. Great coach. Teams are well prepared, very structured. Even in the short amount of time that he's had with them, you can see just the boost that it's given the group. And in the NHL, I think you can certainly in the short term make some real gains when you come in with getting the team's attention. You look at their game was quite dominant the other night in New York. So yeah, we expect a game here tonight. We expect a team that's coming in and re-energized and focused, and some subtle structure tweaks, and sound defensively, and all those kind of things. I would expect that to be prevalent here tonight and throughout the season for them.
You talked about it a little bit after the game on Tuesday, but that big kill at the end, obviously you don't want to be in that situation, but now that you've gotten through it, is that something that you feel like builds even more belief in something you can kind of draw upon in moments moving forward?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, we referenced it this morning. In fact, we listened to your call of that end of the game. I thought which really captured some energy in the building, and the fans recognizing how the guys stepped up in that moment, and that the fans recognize it's a very important moment, and it's a great challenge, and the players met it head on. But even if I go back to our game in Washington, whether it's Shake Allen coming up with a huge save right at the very end, or Mercer or Nico diving and blocking shots, and to seal the deal, like each game has moments. You don't really know when the moment's going to be. It might be a big moment in the first period. But you want to be able to step up and deliver in those moments. And that's why we talk about consistency, because you don't know when that critical moment will be. But certainly as the time winds down and you're in a tight game, and there's opportunity for the opposition to gain ground on you, you've got to be that much more dialed in, and really like how our guys have pulled together recently.
Taking a look at the beginning of the season, if the opposition scored first, it seems as though you guys were maybe chasing the game a little bit longer than you wanted to. But these last 3 games, the opposition scored first in all 3, and you guys have pulled out 3 commanding wins. What does that say about being able to manage the game better and neutralize the highs and lows of a game?
Yeah, it's a good point and question. I do think it's not anything we've talked about very very much, quite honestly. I mean, you want to get out and get a hold of the game, and you'd love to play with elite. Chasing the game is dangerous in the NHL, no question. But I think it does just speak to, again, we're preaching a process here, and we're preaching consistency, and building our identity as a team, and it takes 60 minutes to win a game, or it takes 60 minutes to beat us. We just gotta stay with it. Believe that we're going to minimize the chances against, so that if the opposition scores 1, as long as we stick with our game, we're not going to let them run away with the game. So we're right there, and then trust in our ability to come through with some offense, be it at even strength or on the power play. So that's been kind of the recipe here of late, and it's worked for us, but we'd like to play with the lead as much as we can, no doubt.
How much of a focus has it been to have your guys have a different edge this season, to stick up for themselves, to be physical, to be able to fight through it?
Yeah, it's really important. The group needs to stick together. Like our game requires lots of different elements. It's in my opinion, the most dynamic game and sport that there is, and sometimes it requires great skill and speed and precision, and sometimes you're down in the trenches and it gets quite ugly, and you got to be comfortable in that situation as well. So we have talked about it. We've shown early on in training camp and preseason, we've shown different situations from from our preseason and from last season, and talked about how we'd like them handled and how the guys, we want them to stick together. It's really, really important. I think you've got to be confident and comfortable. You can't give the opposition any sort of edge on you psychologically or otherwise. And I think our guys have done a really nice job of that. Of course, the additions that have come into the group have really helped. But I think all the way through our team, no matter how long you've been here, I think the guys have really stepped up in that situation, and will continue to get better in those moments, because I do think they are important as we're building a team.